Most people think losing everything financially means permanent defeat. But what if I told you it could actually be your greatest opportunity? Today I'll share how I went from bankruptcy to financial freedom, and more importantly, how you can too. I'm Simon, and if you're struggling financially right now, feeling overwhelmed and unsure where to begin, I genuinely understand. Years ago, I faced a devastating bankruptcy that wiped out everything I'd built. Yet today I stand here, wealthier and wiser than before, because I learned crucial lessons on rebuilding from absolute zero. Firstly, let me reassure you. Losing everything financially doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. Even legendary entrepreneur Steve Jobs once hit rock bottom after being fired from Apple. Yet he said later, "It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life." Your financial setback isn't permanent unless you allow it to be. Now you might wonder, how exactly do you bounce back after losing everything? The first most critical step is embracing brutal honesty about your current situation. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio perfectly states, "Truth, more precisely, an accurate understanding of reality, is the essential foundation for any good outcome." After my bankruptcy, I painfully realized that ignoring reality got me there. It was harsh but transformative. I sat down, reviewed every debt, expense and mistake, and committed to complete transparency moving forward. Here's what's genuinely fascinating. Once you confront reality, honestly, opportunities start revealing themselves. Let me give you a practical example from my own life. After losing my first business, I thought my entrepreneurial journey was over. But by examining my failures carefully, I recognized critical knowledge and experience I'd gained, opening new pathways. It's essential to realize that setbacks don't erase your skills, experience, or connections. These remain your greatest assets. Next, once you've assessed reality clearly, it's crucial you create a strategic, yet straightforward, roadmap. Financial guru Tony Robbins wisely advises, "Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible." After bankruptcy, I created achievable short-term goals, such as eliminating high-interest debts, building a small emergency fund, and generating initial income sources. Then I defined realistic long-term objectives, like creating diversified, passive income streams and eventually regaining complete financial freedom. Let me highlight something critical here. Rebuilding from nothing demands disciplined patience. Legendary investor Charlie Munger reminds us, "You don't have to be brilliant, only a little bit wiser than the other guys, on average, for a long time." I initially resisted patience, craving instant recovery. But I quickly learned true, lasting wealth isn't built overnight. Your wealth journey after financial ruin requires steady, consistent steps, not dramatic leaps. Now here's an incredibly practical piece of advice. Immediately focus on increasing your income, no matter how modestly at first. Robert Kiyosaki famously explains, "Rich people acquire assets, the poor and middle class acquire liabilities." When starting again, I focused relentlessly on generating new income streams, consulting, online teaching, freelance writing. Even if they initially produced modest earnings, each stream became a stepping stone towards financial stability. Here's what's truly powerful. Diversifying income sources creates resilience. The moment I stopped relying on one source, my recovery accelerated dramatically. If one source failed or slowed, others balanced it out, gradually compounding overall wealth. Ask yourself honestly, are you dependent solely on a single income right now, leaving yourself financially vulnerable? But increasing income alone won't guarantee lasting wealth. Controlling expenses remains equally essential. Benjamin Franklin wisely observed, "Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship." Immediately after bankruptcy, I aggressively eliminated unnecessary expenses, cable subscriptions, expensive memberships, dining out. Yet crucially, I maintained spending aligned with my core values, prioritizing meaningful experiences with family, especially my grandchildren. This approach allowed me to rebuild financially without feeling deprived, ensuring genuine long-term sustainability. At this stage, you're probably thinking, "Simon, these insights make sense, but how do I practically implement this advice today?" That's precisely what I'll detail in the next segment, where I'll share specific, step-by-step actions anyone can immediately take, even when starting from complete zero. Before I do, let me leave you with a profoundly inspiring thought from ancient philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your financial setback isn't permanent unless you permit it. Embrace these lessons, and you'll uncover strength you never knew you possessed." What I'll reveal next is a genuinely transformative strategy, something I credit for completely changing my financial trajectory from absolute ruin to remarkable wealth. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Years ago, right after losing everything, I stumbled across a powerful yet surprisingly simple wealth-building strategy. I genuinely credit this approach with completely transforming my financial trajectory. And today, I'll reveal precisely what it is and how you can start implementing it right now. This secret isn't glamorous or trendy. It's foundational. Legendary investor Warren Buffett famously said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." At first glance, this might sound basic, but let me explain clearly why it profoundly matters, especially when rebuilding from zero. After my bankruptcy, I shifted my financial priorities dramatically. Instead of spending first and saving the scraps, I began systematically paying myself first, even when my income was initially minimal. Every paycheck, no matter how modest, had a portion immediately set aside, invested directly into carefully chosen assets, low-cost index funds, dividend stocks, and passive income opportunities. This method is transformative because it prioritizes future wealth over immediate gratification. Jim Rohn brilliantly captures this principle, stating, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." Initially, it felt uncomfortable. After all, when rebuilding, each penny counts. But here's what's truly fascinating. Once I established the habit, my financial recovery rapidly accelerated, compounding wealth in a way I previously thought impossible. Now you're probably wondering, how exactly can I practically apply this principle immediately? Here's precisely how. Commit right now to automatically investing a fixed percentage, however small initially, of every income you receive into proven, straightforward investment vehicles. For beginners, low-cost index funds or ETFs are ideal. Don't attempt complex strategies. Simplicity and consistency matter most. Here's another critical lesson. Commit relentlessly to lifelong financial education. Billionaire Mark Cuban wisely observes, "Sweat equity is the most valuable equity there is." After my financial disaster, I quickly realized financial literacy was non-negotiable. I devoured books, attended seminars, listened to expert podcasts, and continuously upgraded my financial knowledge. Each new insight became an invaluable tool, directly translating into smarter financial decisions and quicker wealth recovery. Practically, Here's how you can immediately enhance your financial education. Dedicate just 15 minutes daily to learning something new about personal finance or investing. Consistency compounds knowledge rapidly, and in mere months you'll possess clarity and confidence previously unimaginable. But let's be real, knowledge alone won't rebuild your wealth. Action remains essential. Entrepreneur Tony Robbins captures it powerfully. The path to success is to take massive, determined actions. Immediately apply each new financial insight practically. For instance, if you learn about passive income, begin actively creating even a tiny additional stream. Wealth recovery demands consistent, decisive action, not perfection. There's one more strategy I personally credit for accelerating my financial comeback significantly. It's building a strategic financial safety net, even while actively investing. When I first rebuilt, the anxiety of potential emergencies haunted me. So, I intentionally built a modest emergency fund. This psychological safety allowed me to invest confidently, free from constant fear. Financial expert Dave Ramsey famously calls this your sleep well at night fund. Practically, you should immediately start putting aside small regular amounts until you have at least 3 months of living expenses. Knowing you can survive short-term setbacks dramatically boosts your financial confidence and mental clarity, directly accelerating wealth recovery. Finally, never underestimate the power of networking and mentorship, especially when rebuilding from financial ruin. Andrew Carnegie, one of history's richest men, emphasized, "Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision." I deliberately surrounded myself with financially smarter, more successful mentors and peers. Their guidance proved invaluable, helping me avoid costly mistakes and identify opportunities faster. Practically, ask yourself honestly, are you actively cultivating relationships with financially successful individuals who inspire and challenge you? Seek mentorship or join supportive communities focused on financial growth. Remember, wealth creation isn't solitary, it's collaborative. Let me summarize clearly what you've learned today. Prioritize paying yourself first, consistently, relentlessly invest in your financial education. Take massive, decisive actions on learned insights. Build a strategic emergency fund, and intentionally surround yourself with financially successful mentors and peers. Let me leave you with a profoundly powerful insight from Benjamin Franklin, who wisely said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." Your setback isn't your final destination. Embrace these lessons consistently, and your greatest financial chapter could still lie ahead. Now tell me honestly, which strategy resonated most deeply with you? Which practical step will you start immediately? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I personally read every single one, because your financial success genuinely matters to me.